You're watching the 3-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. The YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist with the most complete line of energy products and the highest level of customer and on-site service. By LaValle and Middleton Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion, now in 11 locations in Vermont and New Hampshire. Baba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor of beautiful Lake Sunapee. And by Barton Insurance with locations in New London, Contoocook, Grantham, and Sunapee. And by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire.
Hello and welcome to the Yankee Cable Network Game of the Week. Barnes Park, the stage for tonight's action between Stevens and Kearsarge Regional High School. And the sun looks like it finally came out just in preparation for this game. That should be a very closely contested one. These two schools do have a lot of history throughout their athletics being so locally bound. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of plays develop as we go on tonight. Two teams that are evenly matched. Stevens coming in with a 1-3 record. Kearsarge yet to find their first win, but they have similar score lines against some of the same opponents they've played so far this season. Stevens only having beat Winnisquam thus far, but just a beautiful scene here at Barnes Park. As we pan around, we get that pink swirling sky to set the stage here tonight. And then players to watch out for. On the Kearsarge side of things, George Jolly, the quarterback, of course, Anders Saylor, the running back. You can expect the ball in their hands a lot on the offense. And then on the side of Stevens, keep an eye out for Zach Bundy and Hunter Christensen. Some of the big men up front, Cameron Oxton, definitely a presence on the defense. It'll be a lot for him to shut down the plays as this Kearsarge offense can get high flying. Jala a running threat, and Anders Saylor also very good on his feet, but looks like the coin toss won by Stevens. And we'll be back with first quarter action in just a minute.
At H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, we sell, install, tune, and repair heating and cooling systems and deliver your fuel oil and propane. But we're much more. With more frequent major weather events, don't say again, I should have installed a generator. H.R. Clough provides the best home generator systems available from Generac. Our highly trained personnel provide you a complete turnkey installation. For a free estimate, call the H.R. Clough Company today. Over 4 generations of local ownership and dependable service.
No matter what season it is, you can always find the best in American and Italian cuisine at Bubba's Bar and Grill in Newbury, New Hampshire. Stop in to enjoy our fresh salads, hearty sandwiches, brick oven pizzas, the award-winning seafood chowder, and a new seasonal menu just right for the cooler months. Dine in or take out. You can check out our full lunch and dinner menus along with daily specials on our website each day as well. Bubba's Bar and Grill, just 2 miles from Mount Sunapee in the beautiful harbor of Newbury, New Hampshire.
You were born to chase the light.
Available at LaValle Middleton Building Supply.
So we've got all new electrical, and our roof is about 2 years old. Anything else you need to know? Oh, and I wanted to mention, we have a dog. It's not going to be a problem, is it?
If you buy insurance online, sometimes it's hard to get answers. But with Safeco Insurance, a real person will explain all your options, so you get the right coverage at the right price.
For personal and professional service at a competitive price, visit us at the Barton Insurance Agency.
And welcome back as the kickoff about to be underway here, following that playing of the national anthem. Stevens getting ready a little bit before Kearsarge. In addition to being live at YCNnow.com and re-airing on WYCX, all YCN games and programs are posted for your viewing pleasure on demand at YCNnow.com. And make sure you stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Football-Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game when we choose the competitor that had the greatest impact on today's contest. Kearsarge, the kicking team here. Stevens on the receiving end. Down there they've got Jalik Ribierto, and it looks like Pascal Lemieux. If the ball does get that far, Kearsarge could have something up their sleeve, opening up with something short, but it looks like with a full stride, this one is going to go the distance and into the hands of Ribierto as he starts to run up the left side with some blocking past the 35 now, and now brought down just shy of the 40. Just the kind of return Stevens was hoping for to start this game. And you can see some good blocking there to get a couple of Kearsarge Cougars out of the way, buying Ribierto just a few extra yards there, but that could make all the difference in this drive as the lines now get set for our first snap. A little movement in the backfield, but this is a run up the middle, good for about 7. Stevens choosing to attack right up the middle, see if there's any cracks in Kearsarge's armor early, trying to find that weak spot. That first play of the drive gets them that much closer to midfield. Looks like 2 yards shy of the first down here on second. Lining up the same way now is the offense. Zach Bundy quarterbacking this team, hands it off again, and this one's going to be good for the first down.
Stevens up the middle for us. Cardinals first down.
Kearsarge has to get back in this one. They don't want to get on the back foot too early, trying to keep this one close. You never want to get run down on your first drive. You always want to make sure you get at least one look at that quarterback's arm. Hopefully we do see it in the coming plays as Zach Bundy looks to show something off. With over 14 years of providing hungry patrons with high-quality food and friendly service, Bubba's Bar and Grill has a mission of delivering fun and great food on Newberry Harbor. This play, another run right up the middle, but not for as much success. That one only good for about 2. Taking a second look here. What made the difference for Kearsarge? Just collapsing that offensive line. You could see trying to just go to the right for maybe an extra yard or so, but a wall for Kearsarge in the way. Second down and 8 here. Another handoff. This one goes back the other way, up the left side. Not a lot of Cougars there in the way. And that one should be good for another first down for Stevens.
Pascal Lemieux with a run to the outside for Stevens. First down.
And on the replay here, you should be able to see 2 handoffs. One there, 1 to 25. And that's going to be Pascal Lemieux coming up this left side. Good block there from Zach Bundy, the quarterback, in that same play. Kearsarge ready and waiting as Stevens comes out of the huddle. Ball on the 35, 1st and 10. Zach Bundy hands it off again. No, this time Zach Bundy's got the ball from the handoff. Out to the left side, but only for a gain of about 2. And you can see him almost finding a pocket there, but 3 Cougars quick in response. Stevens with a lot of movement behind their offensive line, keeping Kearsarge guessing as to what play could be coming. And this one is another handoff, but it is fumbled right by the line of scrimmage and picked up by Kearsarge. That is the reversal they were hoping for. As we go to the replay and we see how it happens, it looks like it was just on that transfer in the handoff. There you can see it just doesn't quite come through for Stevens, and Andrew Clark able to fall on that and change possession. Kearsarge now with a long way to go as they start their first drive of the night. They're getting set here. Jala ready to take this. Little movement in the backfield, pitched over to Anders Saylor, who makes his way up the left side, finding another small hole in that offensive line, this time for 2 yards.
With a gain of 5, 4.
Anders Saylor with some motion early on that last play. Stevens able to get the read on it, move to their right and shut it down. The last look I had at Kearsarge, they were wearing the soles out for Anders Saylor's cleats. I'm not sure if he got a new pair or not, but this is a team that likes to use him a lot. This one, though, pitched over, and this up the right side, and that's going to be good. Maybe for the first down. It's awfully close. The referee signaling, and they're going to be checking the chains here, as this should be within 1 yard line.
John Fraioli with a pickup of 7 yards.
That one good for 7 yards. John Fraioli with his first carry of the game. Had to muscle his way through and then finally brought down by 2 players on Stevens. 7:20 left on the clock as Kearsarge are awfully close to their first down. This one handed off up the middle, and that will be good enough for it. Kearsarge still with the ball on the bottom side of that dog pile. Good for the first down.
Come on, defense, let's go black.
Quick running plays we're seeing from the Kearsarge Cougars here, taking what they can get as they chip away on what started as a very long drive off the back of that fumble recovery that they had. This time Jala in the shotgun. Oh, and a high snap runs. Aaron Jala now has to scramble to make up for some lost yardage. And Stevens is already there with the tackle for a loss of 10 or more. Going to the replay now, you can see this can often happen. That first look in the shotgun of a game, this snap just too high for George Jala to get a handle of. And no targets in sight for him to throw to. And that brings us to 2nd and 20. Kearsarge, what do they do now in response to that? Jala again in the shotgun. Anders Saylor motions to his left, doesn't pick up this ball, though Jala does keep it. Now starting to scramble, doesn't have his eyes on a receiver yet, but he's able to spin past one tackle, and that will chip away at some yardage going into 3rd down, but still, it's going to be a very long 3rd down for the Cougars. You can see Jala all the way, just trying to find somebody, anybody downfield. But at some point, you got to keep your eyes on what's in front of you, and a lot of black is probably all he saw as Stevens was quick to surround their defense, riding a nice wave here as they had to respond to that turnover that began this drive. This time, a shorter snap and some motion pitched out to John Fraioli as he moves his way up, but still, maybe 12 yards to go for the first down. This one is going to go 4th, and Kearsarge should be punting this away. This game coverage is being brought to you in part by LaValle and Middleton Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Kearsarge taking some time to decide here, maybe get all the members of the special teams out that they want. And it does look like they are indeed setting up for this punt. It'll be Jerome Donahue with the boot that they trust. This snap perfect for the punt, sending it downfield. This one along the right side, but it's got to find its way out of bounds. Stevens should have the ball just around the 36-yard line. Next week, YCN Football Game of the Week will feature the Hurricanes of Hartford as they'll host Brattleboro live Friday at 6:52 on YCNnow.com. And the following week will be featuring tape delay between Lebanon and Bow. Stevens now starting their second offensive possession. This time keeping it and down the field to the right with some space, but unable to reel it in. Aiden White with a great chance to make a highlight reel catch, but that's why they are so few and far between. A good pass there from the Stevens quarterback just to get that one off in time and able to find the window of the receiver, but just too small a window to make the catch. As we see here, great arc on that throw. The defender close, but still over and out of his reach. It was a great attempt there. Another handoff that is just a fake, and this time it's a quarterback sneak right up the middle. Good for 9 yards. Zach Bundy showing that quickness here, catching Kearsarge a little off guard. And you can see a couple of holes in the defensive line there for the Cougars, but luckily their safety able to get in and make the tackle before the first down. But Stevens, with only 1 yard to go here on a third down, has a chance to keep this drive alive. Kearsarge seeming to set up for the blitz. They don't want to let anything through, and they're able to bring the ball down. Should be short of the first down. And now what does Stevens do? Will they punt it away? This is the gray area of the football field. Depending on the score, you can usually guess, but in a 0-0 game, this could tell a lot about how this team... Oh, it is a first down. The referees do spot that ball just beyond the chains. Stevens breathing a fresh breath of fresh air as they get to continue this drive with a little less pressure, as I had anticipated. Bundy and Ribeiro making their way back out to the field to join in the offense. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. Another one held by the quarterback, Pascal Lemieux, as he fires this one down, but it doesn't connect with Ribeiro in a way where he can hang on to it. And Stevens will have to go again here on 2nd and 10. The Barton Insurance Agency has been your choice for quality service and comprehensive coverage in New Hampshire since 1954 in northern New England. You could see there just a great pass on an up-the-middle receiver. Unfortunately for Ribeiro, unable to hold on to that last one, but this time he's got the ball again up the right side, and that will be good for a gain of 4. And you can see the motion early. The blocking is there to make the defensive line have to give. And again, it's up to the safeties for Kearsarge to be answering these runs, because Stevens is pretty quick to move around that defensive line given the chance. From the shotgun again, this one held. And it's got to connect with Ribeiro, but not before the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to make his way up, and he's still brought down with just a gain of 3. Stevens now on 4th down with 2 yards to go. And they are choosing Ribeiro a lot as their weapon of choice in this one as a receiver, and both pitching the ball to him for running plays.
4 yards to bring up 4th
Kearsarge using some teamwork, 2 members to finish off that tackle. Had to catch him. If he was off and had momentum prior to that, it could have been trouble for the Cougars, but rather flat-footed at the time of the catch, and that's how Kearsarge was able to catch up to him. Stevens lines up for another try. George Jalla back deep in defense, and this one again goes to Ribeiro as he tries to sneak up the left side. Awfully close to the end of the chains. The referee ruling it down just before midfield. And gosh, I am far away, but it doesn't look like that's going to be good enough for the first down.
Kearsarge Cougars will take over the ball on the 50.
So Kearsarge now has the ball just a sliver beyond midfield as they were able to put a stop to that run out wide right. This time they're looking at a lot less green in front of them than when they started their first drive. No quarterback changes here for the Kearsarge Cougars as Jalla pitches this one out to John Frioli as he makes his way. Only 2 men left to beat, but they do run him out of bounds just beyond the 40, so we're inside at around the 39, I do believe. Not quite good enough for the first down.
John Frioli with a run to the outside. Kearsarge, 6.
Pushed out of bounds after making it 6 yards before Stevens was able to squeeze what room he had left away. Kearsarge comes back in on 2nd and 4 with just under 30 seconds to go. This one pitched to Anders Sailors as he starts to get the legs loose, and he's beat a pair of Stevens defenders, and he'll be brought down at the 30-yard line. Good enough for the Kearsarge first down and then some. And in our second look, you can see getting that momentum into play early, and look at the wave of Kearsarge. You can just see those blocks coming in assistance to the left side, and by then, he's already past the line. The safeties have to do something. Good enough for the first down. 5 seconds left and winding, but Kearsarge will pick the ball right back up here for the second quarter. All right, and after the first quarter, it is 0-0, but Kearsarge starting to threaten a score at the 30-yard line. We'll be back in just a moment with the second quarter.
There's something for everyone in the Innertown Record newspaper. Your trusted source for community news since 1993.
I like to know what my town officials are up to. That's why I read the paper.
Politics, local elections, and more.
I like to see my friend in the Innertown Record.
Correspondents keep you up to date with what's going on in your neighborhood. The Innertown Record thanks you for supporting advertisers who bring you the local news.
And welcome back to the Yankee Cable Network Game of the Week between Stevens and Kearsarge Regional High School. Second quarter, first snap about to be underway. This one pitched to Anders Sailor again along the left side, stretching to get every yard he can. Kearsarge going to the run a lot so far to start this game. In our second look, you can see just his extension to try and buy another yard out of this try, keeping a firm grip on that ball. And we've got 2nd and 4, if I'm correct. This is where Kearsarge could start to look a little dangerous here. Jalla poised, ready for this snap. Again to Anders Sailors up the left side for a similar play. This one not as successful. Stopped earlier, should be 3rd and 2. A good response here from Stevens as they're able to answer that similar play. This time realizing how the defensive line was moving and that there needed to be someone, a safety, a linebacker, somebody there on that right side for them so they could bring down Anders Sailor. Stevens now defending from their own 22-yard line. 3rd down and 2, Kearsarge starting to threaten the first score of the game, and we've got a false start. One way or another. This is going to chew up some very important yards. Kearsarge with the false start on that play. The 3rd and 2 goes to a 3rd and 7.
False start on the offense brings up 3rd and 6.
Kearsarge, I don't believe they've passed the ball yet this game, as this 3rd down just got 5 yards longer. This would be a good time to finally let one fly. Jala in the shotgun. This snap under control. Jala keeps it looking downfield, avoids the sack, and now he starts to scramble. He's gained at least enough for the 1st down, making his way into the end zone. He beats that tackle as well. Jala muscles his way through, and Kearsarge with the first score of the game. What in the world was that, George Jala? One, how do you not get sacked right there? And then composed, knows he doesn't have a target downfield. As you can see, Stevens there on the defense, making his way up the middle, cutting to his right. Does not trip up there, does not get a knee on the ground either. And finding the end zone in what was one of the best efforts I've seen all season. And it does look like we've got a member of Stevens down on that play. Likely a player that Jala collided with in that final tackle he was able to avoid. And a good show of sportsmanship here as both sides down. Just hoping that this player is all right. He does seem to be able to be moving. He's talking with the trainers, just assessing the situation. And Zach Bundy on his feet with the help of his teammates, making his way off the field. And it's a shame that Stevens may be down this starter for the rest of this game. We do hope he's okay. The play that injury did happen on was that George Jala touchdown to open up the scoring here. Getting some help by the trainers is Pascal Lemieux. Normally, in high school football, after a touchdown, teams will elect to go for 2 instead of the field goal. We'll see if that's what Kearsarge decides to do here. Bubba's Bar and Grill has a menu comprised of seafood land fares, award-winning seafood chowder, hearty sandwiches, and a diverse pizza menu to satisfy any size party, located on beautiful Newbury Harbor. Ready to get back underway here as Kearsarge sets up to go for 2 points. This one pitched out in a run to the right side by John Frioli. Motions to his left and able to get past the defense for an extra 2.
And the 2-point conversion is
Kearsarge
good with a run
Cougars,
from John Frioli.
9:39 on the clock here, left in the first half. George Jala celebrating a little bit early there. He knew it was good. He saw the opening in the defense. and knew that Kearsarge had executed the play perfectly as they set up for their second kick of the game. Jerome Donahue hoping for as good a kick as he had to start this contest. Sending one down all the way, making it tough for Stevens to return it, but Stevens did end up with a good special teams effort to get to about the 35-yard line. They'll be hoping for more of the same as well. Donahue game planning the kick for his team, letting them know which way he is intending and which way all of them should be as well. And this one's in the air, received by Ribierto. This one was a little shorter than last as he starts to go up the left side, but brought down on a tackle by Alex Clark, wrapping him up and making sure he gets no farther.
Jalik Ribeiro with a return to the 31.
YCN would like to thank our LaValle Scoreboard, HR Cloth Replay, and Echo Communications halftime sponsors for their great support. We hope you will do the same for them. Stevens set and ready to go here. Zach Bundy receives the snap, hands it off for a run up the middle, but this one stopped short. Seems to be a loss of just one, as Kearsarge was able to collapse.
Stevens for a run for no gain, bring up
Jack
second and 10.
Chambers with the tackle there. The ball on the 32-yard line. As Stevens sets up again this time, Bundy chooses to keep it and lets one loose on the right side, but bounces off the hands and out of bounds. Incomplete. Aiden White, the elected receiver on this one. And you can see Kearsarge is definitely betting on the run play here as they were thrown a little bit off guards. The defense all had their front foots forward there. Aiden White, though, covered by two. And that one forced incomplete. There was a holding on the offense there,
third and 10.
which was declined. Kearsarge choosing to keep the ball and the down right where they are. Stevens now making their way back up to the line for this play out of the shotgun. Zach Bundy with some help to his right, but this time he's got to be keeping it, looking for a target downfield. Ribierto, the intended receiver. This one swatted away. Anders Saylor with a great defensive effort to deny that pass. And here on the replay, we can see the Stevens offensive line is doing a fantastic job buying their quarterback time, so he's able to get these tough passes off, but Anders Saylor's and a little bit of acrobatic help there from George Jala, but they do deny that play. Jala right there to help up Ribierto after he was on the ground following that play. And we've got 4th and 10 here. Stevens setting up to punt. This one sent down. And the receiver, George Jala, he's got some room to run up to this one. And he chooses to just hang on to it, making his way up the left side, brushes off one, making another with the stiff arm, and he's switched fields now over to the right, and he's got blocking. The Army is there, they're making the space, and George Jala still not done on the sideline, but he's brought down there at the 15-yard line, flag on the field.
George Jala with the return with a flag on the play.
George Jala flashing his ability to break tackles in this one so far, and great patience to let Kearsarge catch up to him. He knew he couldn't do that without the blocking from his team, and it seemed like the penalty did come on one of those blocks there. The referee saying the foul was on the side of the receiving team. They rule an illegal block, so we'll be back 15 yards from where that foul happened. There was also a holding on the play that was declined. So what was looking great for Kearsarge and a fantastic team play will be brought back a considerable distance, as they should be here on the 43-yard line. Out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage. A change in quarterback for Kearsarge as they've now got Parker going. But this play whistled off and flags are on the field again. This time, holding on the defense. That'll be 5 yards closer to the first for Kearsarge. We've got the 1st and 5 try here for the Cougars as they finally look to start what has been a weird drive so far. The referees now just grouping up with the huddle, making sure everyone's on the same page with how this possession should be going. And he says we're good to go. Kearsarge still game planning. It looks like Parker Goen will still be a quarterback for this play. Lining up right behind the line. This one pitched over to Anders Saylor again. Looking for a hole, and he's found one for a few yards. Not enough for the first, but enough for 2.
Anders Saylor with a gain of 2, bringing up 2nd down and 3 to go on the 50.
Watch Yankee Chronicle, your who, what, where, and when show of the Dartmouth/Lake Sunapee region, presented by Barton Insurance Agency, premiering this Thursday and Friday at noon and 6:30 p.m. and anytime at ycnnow.com.
Come on, Green. Let's go, defense. Defense. Let's go. We got this, defense. Come on, defense. Come on. Let's go.
Another one pitched over this time to John Frioli, and he's wrapped up early, and this is going to be good for no gain. That should bring us to 3rd and 3.
A gain of 1 on the play will bring up 3rd and
George Jolly just had to make sure that Aiden Barry's helmet was on nice and tight there. Didn't want anything out of place. The referees for this one in a meeting in the middle of the field. Not sure what the conversation is about yet, but I'm sure they'll let us know. In the meantime, this gives everyone a chance to breathe on this drive that's had its stops and starts. Steven starts to head back out there, ready to defend, and Kearsarge coming out of the huddle as well. 7:13 left on the clock here in the first half. Kearsarge leads Stevens 8-0. And the sun is down. It is officially Friday Night Lights. And the crowd starting to get into it as well. Jala back quarterbacking this play. Receives the snap, pitches it over to his favorite, Anders Saylor. This time another left side threat. Good for the first down and a few more.
Anders Saylor with a run to the outside for a Cougars first down.
And the pitch comes through. The blocking is there. John Frioli, sometimes a running back, sometimes making space for the running back, as he's able to muscle that Stevens player toward the sideline just enough for Anders Saylor to squeak by. Good for the first down. The ball now on the 41-yard line, 1st and 10. Another shotgun setup here for Kearsarge. A snap a little bit wide here, but Jala's going to keep it and send it down the right side. And stumbling is going to be Adam Kabalka, unable to get to that ball in time. But Kearsarge starting to show that arm that they've got. Stevens won't be allowed to play with their safeties too far forward, betting on those running plays, because Kearsarge can attack with those passing options. The ball where we left it on the 41-yard line here for 2nd and 10. As Kearsarge step up to the line. Not out of the shotgun this time. Stevens playing awfully close, betting run all the way, and we've got some motion and a pitch to John Frioli, who fakes back and opts for the center lane, but there is not one open. He will be brought down for no gain.
A swarm of Cardinals will bring down John Frioli for a no gain. They'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Running in a little bit too, George Jala there, as there wasn't much he could go by. The Stevens line hard to read there. They seemed to guess the play's movement as they all shifted left. John Frioli had to make the quick decision to go back up the middle, but by then it was just too late after losing a little bit of momentum. Running into Jala, but they will be setting up here on 3rd and 10. And again, this one pitched, and this one a little more successful as he breaks one tackle, and that's good for a gain of 5 or 6. And that is Damon Dawson with his first carry of the game, bringing this one to 4th and 4. Does the Kearsarge offense come off the field? It doesn't look like they will. Electing to go for it on this 4th down. Good run there by Damon Dawson, the freshman running back, with his first look of the game, as Jala sets up to receive the snap. Pitches this one over to Anders Saylor, making his way through, but did he get enough? As it looks like he's brought down just by the 30-yard line. And yes, that'll be enough to move the chains.
A run to the outside will bring up a first down for the Cougars on the 30.
This leftward bound running play they love to have, Anders Saylor's run, seems to be working. It's only been stopped for no gain once in this one so far. It's been kept under 3 yards a handful of times, but if they need to chip away at a short first down, they're able to. Jala gets this one with another pitch, this time to John Frioli, utilizing the depth this team has at the running back position, and that's going to be good for a first down, but brought down just around the 14-yard line. And that's what Kearsarge can do with this variety of running backs they've got. They can keep the legs fresh all drive long, and that's what they're doing here, as this one gets pitched over to John Frioli to go the other way. Good block there. Andrew Clark. If that block doesn't get made,
first down,
that's not a first down.
14-yard line, bringing up 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Ball on the 14 for the 1st and 10. 4 minutes to go. Kearsarge threatening to score for the second time this game. And this one again handed off to Anders Saylor. Not good enough for the first down, but good enough for some yards. Any bit closer is going to be crucial for this Kearsarge team, trying to score for a second time in the first half. Great blocking again. George Jala getting in the mix, as well as Alex Clark, who's had a lot of physical involvement on these plays. Brings up 2nd and 5 with the ball on the 8-yard line. Kearsarge could really extend their lead here. Quite the chance they've given themselves to do some dangerous work. This one pitched over. John Frioli's got it. Did he make it into the end zone? So
John Frioli will punch it in for another score for the Cougars.
Everyone on Kearsarge putting their arms up before the referees, but that one is good for 6 more. Fantastic play as he runs his way up the right side, changing to that middle route. And you can see these running backs for Kearsarge getting worn down, but they've all got smiles on their faces because they know their work is paying off as Kearsarge goes for 2 for the second time this game. Jala pitches this one over to Anders Saylor again, up through a hole. Did he find the room? It looks like Stevens was able.
The 2-point conversion is no good, leaving it to 14-0 with 3 minutes left.
So we've got 14-0 with 3 minutes to play in the half. Good stop by Stevens as they're able to squander that effort from the Cougars. So Kearsarge, for the 3rd time this game, will be kicking the ball toward the direction of the Cardinals. And to this point for the Cougars, I would have to say Andrew Clark, George Jala, Anders Saylor, and John Frioli have really stood out in this one. Jerome Donahue with a couple of good kicks as well as he starts to set up again. Down there receiving for the Cardinals is going to be Aiden White and Jalik Ribeiro. And Kearsarge sends this one off and into the hands of Aiden White. He's shown some quickness so far, and he's made his way past one Cougar, but he will be brought down by the kicker, Jerome Donahue, making sure that no more yards are gained on that play. But a great run from Aiden White. As it was a tough ball to pick up, you can see a tricky read off the
return to the 44-yard line. This will bring up Stevens 1st and 10.
Having to corral it before picking it up, and then a great move to get by Alex Clark. But there is Donahue with the tackle. He must care a lot about those plays, the kicker. I mean, that is his handiwork. Setting up here to start this drive, just inside of 3 minutes left in the half. Stevens will have to work quickly here as they start out of the shotgun. This one handed off to Hunter Christensen. He's able to get a few yards, but Kearsarge is there with a short stop.
Hunter Christian with a gain of 2 on the play, bring up 2nd and 8.
Jerome Donahue almost gets a hand on, and then that is Alex Clark. So the reversal there. The tackle that was previously Alex Clark that was broken on that kick return and eventually brought down by Donahue. Donahue came up empty on that tackle there, and Alex Clark finishing the job. This one again kept by the quarterback in the shotgun out toward his right, and that one connects with Jalik. And that is just shy of the first down.
Jalik.
But good.
This will bring up a 3rd and short
for a gain of 7. Stevens could really build something here off the back of that play. That makes this first down very achievable with a variety of things they've got in their playbook. Good job of the Cougars making sure that that ball did not get any farther down in their defensive end after the reception.
Timeout on play.
And we've got our first timeout of the game here, as Kearsarge choose to game plan this defense on 3rd and short a little more. HR Clough Kearsarge Heating has full service offerings of all types of energy systems, as well as air conditioning and water conditioning systems. And don't forget their auto bath car wash and Muddy Paws dog wash in Kentucky. And this game coverage is being brought to you in part by LaValle Middleton Building Supply, with 11 locations in Vermont and New Hampshire, where safety and service are their top priorities. One minute, 41 seconds left in the half, and we are on 3rd and 1. A first down could really get the Cardinals close to a distance where they can start to threaten the score. This reception bobbled a little bit, it seemingly hit the ground, and that is going to be a dead ball on that play, which will bring us to 4th and short.
Complete pass will bring up 4th and 1.
From our angle, it was tough to see that this ball did hit the ground, but it did in fact just on the other side of the cleats there. Stevens has to stay out here, try to keep this drive alive. A minute 30 on the clock. Doesn't give Kearsarge an awful lot of time to get this one back down the field. Stevens is hoping to chip away at this lead the Cougars have built up in the first half. Zach Bundy hands this one off, and it is awfully close as the referees converge. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough, though. And on the replay, we'll get another look as the referees start to sort out where this ball lies. It looks to me to be just around the 41-yard line, but if it's short, it is inches away. As the referees escort the chains out there to get the final measurement and either keep it alive or seal the fate of this Stevens drive. It looks to be good.
Well, that was good enough for Stevens. First down.
That's exactly what the Cardinals were hoping for. Things were awfully quiet on the side of Stevens' bench as they just sat and waited for the call. No one seemed to be sure until those chains were marched out. But Stevens has kept this drive alive with that run. Stevens quick to the line of scrimmage here as the clock is running. Out of the shotgun play here. Zach Bundy calls for the snap, and he's gonna keep this one looking down the field. Jalik Ribeiro, the intended target, but picked off by the other number 7 out there. George Jalla reels it in, and the change of possession has swung the tide at the end of the first half here for Kearsarge.
Interception to take over. 1st and 10 on the.
Zach Bundy knew what he wanted all the way, but Jalla cutting across the middle with a leaping effort to reel that one in, making sure to keep those feet in bounds as he was headed toward the sideline.
1st and 10 on the 27-yard line.
What a great play there by the quarterback, helping his team out. Kearsarge has either 54 seconds to go for an incredibly long drive, or they can look at it as just killing the clock, at doing a job well done to end this first half. Setting up here, we've got Parker going, the quarterback for this play. Hands it off to Andre Sailors, and there's not a lot in front of him, but wrapped up and brought down for a gain of about 9. That'll keep the clock moving. That's important to keep an eye on as this half comes to an end shortly. Kearsarge will have A short second down to work with here, as we can expect the running plays to continue, and they try to stay in bounds. So this clock continues to dwindle.
Make it 2nd and inches with a timeout.
2nd and inches as a timeout is called to stop the clock at 41 seconds. A good crowd showing up for Kearsarge on the away game. Stevens having plenty of fans and a pep band on their side of the field. Love having the support back after a year of no football for these teams. Meeting for the first time in 2 years. And this one will be kneed down to get that clock ticking yet again. Parker going. Taking that snap, quickly going to the ground.
Tailgate on the play will bring up 3rd and inches.
And they'll hustle on this offense to try and do it again. 2nd and 1. Keep the clock moving. No, this one pitched. And this is John Frioli running up the right side. He's actually found some space, but will be brought out of bounds with 10 seconds to play in the half. As we get closer and closer to our final play of the second quarter.
John Fraley with a run to the 43 to bring up Kearsarge first.
A creative play there. That's Stevens. And I don't think anyone in the crowd was expecting either of that ball going to Frioli and up the right side. Looked like Frioli was actually looking for a receiver, like he wanted to actually pass that ball. We've only seen him make carries so far. When I saw his eyes go up and look downfield for one, I was a little bit puzzled, but then he was headstrong going up the right side for a significant gain. Kearsarge setting up short again. Parker going, the quarterback for this play. And this ball is actually fumbled. Not sure who came up with it. Referee's motioning to the side. Four seconds left on the clock here.
Fumble on the play, recovered by Stevens Cardinals. They'll take over with a 1st and 10.
Stevens, they do get that fumble recovery, so they will have 4 seconds, 1 try left in this half to put a number up on the board. Out of the shotgun here, looking for the long pass. Kearsarge ready, setting up the safeties very far back and out to the right side, but brought down early. And that is going to be Jerome Donahue again, making tackle after tackle to end this half. And ending the second quarter, we do have Kearsarge 14, Stevens 0, and we will be back with third quarter action in just a few moments.
You're watching the 3-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. The YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist with the most complete line of energy products and the highest level of customer and on-site service. By LaValle and Middleton Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion, now in 11 locations in Vermont and New Hampshire. Baba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor of beautiful Lake Sunapee. And by Barton Insurance with locations in New London, Contoocook, Grantham, and Sunapee. And by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire.
At H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, we sell, install, tune, and repair heating and cooling systems and deliver your fuel oil and propane. But we're much more, with more frequent major weather events. Don't say again, I should have installed a generator. H.R. Clough provides the best home generator systems available from Generac. Our highly trained personnel provide you a complete turnkey installation. For a free estimate, call the H.R. Clough Company today. Over 4 generations of local ownership and dependable service.
No matter what season it is, you can always find the best in American and Italian cuisine at Bubba's Bar and Grill in Newbury, New Hampshire. Stop in to enjoy our fresh salads, hearty sandwiches, brick oven pizzas, the award-winning seafood chowder, and a new seasonal menu just right for the cooler months. Dine in or take out. You can check out our full lunch and dinner menus along with daily specials on our website each day as well. Bubba's Bar and Grill, just 2 miles from Mount Sunapee in the beautiful harbor of Newbury, New Hampshire.
The stars may fall, the rains may pour, but I will love you evermore, 'cause you were born to chase the light.
Available at LaValle Middleton Building Supply.
So we've got all new electrical, and our roof is about 2 years old. Anything else you need to know? Oh, and I wanted to mention, we have a dog. It's not going to be a problem, is it?
If you buy insurance online, sometimes it's hard to get answers. But with Safeco Insurance, a real person will explain all your options, so you get the right coverage at the right price.
For personal and professional service at a competitive price, visit us at the Barton Insurance Agency.
And welcome back if you're just joining us for the Yankee Cable Network Game of the Week. Third quarter about to be underway. Kearsarge leads Stevens 14-0. This game coverage is being brought to you in part by LaValle Middleton Building Supply, with 11 locations in Vermont and New Hampshire where safety and service are their top priorities. H.R. Clough Heating has full service offerings for all types of energy systems, as well as air conditioning and water conditioning systems. And don't forget their auto bath car wash, as well as Muddy Paws dog wash in Kentucky. And check out Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing and mailing needs. They're the home of the Kearsarge Shopper, where the latest YCN schedule can be found every week on page 3. Stevens will be kicking this ball off to start the half.
And we are back, ready for the second half. Kearsarge is back to receive the kick.
The receivers for Kearsarge ready and awaiting as Aiden White sends it their way. Caught cleanly and run up the left with a little bit of blocking, but not enough to get far past the 30. I believe it was Damon Dawson.
Dawson with a return to the 34-yard line. This will bring up 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
And he's able to find the 34-yard line to start Kearsarge's drive. Kearsarge with some phenomenal plays in the first half to find scoring. George Jalla, of course, with that breakaway type play he had, shrugging off 4 or 5 tackles on his way to the end zone. And then I do believe it was John Frioli with the second score, muscling his way through to the right side. Jalla pitches this one over to Frioli, and he's leading with the block, and he's connecting, making space, and that is going to be enough to get past midfield. Past
John Frioli with a run to the outside.
John Frioli with a fantastic first carry to start
Big pick
this
up to the
drive.
42-yard line, 38-yard line. 1st and 10.
That'll be a gain of 24, and you can just tell that George Jalla, he loves breaking out of that quarterback position, loves shining on defense, has an interception in this game, and then leading the blocking there as John Frioli has a fantastic run up the right side. Kearsarge happy to pick up where they left off here, trying to continue some momentum going. Looks like we've got a flag here
Flag on the play.
Kearsarge will lose 5 yards.
15.
Penalty from Jerome Donahue, who's had a good game to this point, the kicker. That's stopped a couple of special teams efforts from Stevens. Making some tackles. Kearsarge now back in the huddle for an extended period of time, trying to game plan this new attack that they're looking at. As 1st and 15 stares them down from the scoreboard ahead of them. Stevens defense playing awfully short here, betting run all the way, and they're going to guess right. Anders Saylor with the ball, and he'll be brought down for the gain of 2.
Gain of 3 to bring up 2nd and 12.
Ball on the 43, 2nd and 12. Stevens with a good job there of shaping up on that running play to put a stop to Kearsarge's momentum. That alongside the penalty can kill that wave that they were previously riding to start this drive. As Jala gets set for the snap, this one is going to be a fake to the right and ending up going left, but not far. Anders Saylor's brought down early again. This one for no gain.
Will bring up 3rd and long.
3rd and 12, long way to go here for Kearsarge as they try to keep this drive alive. Getting to a good position where a punt would really put Stevens all the way back in their own end. And could set a good stage here as Kearsarge starts this half. And here's the snap, Jala with another pitch, this time to Frioli up the right side, and Jala's there with the blocking again. That is going to near the 1st down marker, and that'll be good for it.
Another run by John Frioli for a 1st down.
John Frioli picking up about 16 yards there to get those chains moving. It does seem to be
1st and 10 on the 25-yard line.
Saylor gets it, they go left. John Frioli gets it, they go right. Damon Dawson has had 1 carry to chew up a few yards, and you don't know which way he's gonna go. Kearsarge gets set. Alex Clark there supporting George Jala. This one pitched again. Anders Saylor's along the left side, breaking free from one brushed up tackle, but not breaking free from Cam Cummings, who's able to wrap him up and bring him down. Just under 10 left in the 3rd quarter here.
Anders Saylor for a gain of 5 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Starts to posture for another score. The ball on the 22nd and 5. And the snap, the handoff. And this time, going to the right again is Frioli. And he's brought down just
John
short
Frioli
of
with a run to the outside for a 1st down.
Near the 4-yard line, good enough for the 1st and goal. Frioli again going to the right.
Right on the 5-yard line.
With the blocking there is Zach Hodge, the senior. Making some space for Frioli as he gets his team closer and closer to that goal line. Kearsarge gets set, as does Stevens. Kearsarge with no threats along the outside. Another running play to Saylor again along the left side, but a good stop by Stevens brings him down for no gain. That'll bring us to 2nd down with 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Gain of 1 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 4. 2nd and goal on the 4-yard line.
George Jala coming back from the sidelines, getting a little bit of intel from the coaching staff for Kearsarge as he game plans his team for the upcoming play. Kearsarge looking to open up this lead even more. They are still hunting their first win of the season in our 4th week. Another pitch for Frioli. Looks like he's going to the right side, but he finds the middle. The touchdown.
John Frioli up the middle for a Cougars touchdown.
Kearsarge with 20 up on the board now as the 3rd quarter has just begun. Going to our second look here, you can see the plan was to go right, but Stevens on the defense gets a little too clustered, and they leave a gap in the middle open for Frioli to take advantage of. Kearsarge setting up, likely to go for 2 again. They've done it following both touchdowns to this point. Successful on one, not successful on their second. This one, and up the middle try again, and good. That one carried home by Alex Clark.
Is good.
Good bit of work here from Frioli. This is the touchdown again, the up the middle run. Celebrating as he's brought down, trying to work a fist pump into that tackle. Kearsarge expands their lead to 22 points. But if you've been watching Yankee Cable Network, you know that no lead at no time in the game is safe. Kearsarge has been the victim of a fantastic comeback effort from Campbell High School in their first game of the season. So Stevens, they've got to keep their head on their shoulders, continue to play seriously in this second half. If they can find their first score, I'm sure the possibility is out there for them to find a second and a third and close the gap in this game. Lining up for another kick is Jerome Donahue. The ball does not cooperate.
I did try. But it was just back to work.
He sets it up again. This time the football chooses to play along. The Cougars ready on his wings. And he lets this one fly. This one goes left. Aiden White, the receiver down there. He's going to let this one run along. It doesn't find its way out of bounds, or does it? It seems like it has. That sideline so far away. Hard to see sometimes, but this one will move up to, I believe,
Stevens will
the
take over at
25-yard
line for our first down.
Stevens starting another drive here. They have 2 turnovers in this game so far, a fumble that was recovered by Kearsarge and an interception by George Jalla in that leaping play he made toward the end of last half. Stevens has taken more chances though with the passing plays. They choose to run the offense out of the shotgun frequently and leave nothing to chance. No guessing if it's going to be a running play or not, but this one happens to be a gain of not much, maybe a yard or so, as Jolique Ribeiro moves that one down the field a few. Going all the way to his right here. Not a lot of blocking help in front of him. Has to muscle his way past that first tackle, but help was there for the Cougars to secure it. Second down and 8 with the ball on the 37-yard line. Stevens ready to go, this time out of the shotgun. Quarterback keeping it. This is Zach Bundy, but not making it far.
Zach Bundy on the keeper.
That should put us at 3rd and about 5. Going to the replay here again. You can see
3rd and 5.
The running play fake to the right and kept by Bundy. A great tackle there by, I do believe, Andrew Clark. Aiden White, the wide receiving threat, along the left side, turns into a blocker, but he is brought down, and as is Jalik Ribeiro. Aiden White, slower to get up on this play, helped by a Cougar and a teammate of Stevens.
No gain on the play, will bring up 4th down.
Colby Shepard making sure he's okay. Aiden does seem to be a little bit banged up, making his way back to the huddle. His coach telling him to take a rest on that leg as he hobbles off, but doesn't seem to be too banged up. Hopefully he does return in this game. And we've got a timeout in this one. That was one of the stories in that comeback game that Kearsarge fell victim of against Campbell, was a lot of their starters like Anders Saylor was getting banged up. George Jala had a few times where he was taken to the sidelines. Finally, in the 4th quarter, something in his left leg, probably a hamstring or something. It seemed to be what the trainers were treating. Took him out of the game, and Campbell was able to claw their way back after being down 3 scores. And Campbell ended up winning that game with less than 3 seconds on the clock. So a heartbreaking loss for Kearsarge to start the season. And they're playing with that heartbreak still as they are putting in their best effort, chasing their first win. Barton Insurance is an independent agency representing top companies devoted to serving your community with the best coverage at the best price. Stevens High School again lining up out of the shotgun. Zach Bundy not sure what to do with it, and a great bring down. And that is Parker going with the sack and a loss of 4.
Kearsarge with a sack. That'll be a turnover on downs.
That will turn the ball over for Kearsarge. Closer than the line of scrimmage was on that last play. Great job there by Parker. It looked like Stevens wasn't sure if they wanted to punt that ball or not. I don't know if it was a bobble or what, but you could see looking down at the ball toward his feet. Wasn't sure if he was trying to make the two connect, but ended up hanging on and scrambling to his right before being brought down by Parker. Kearsarge lines up this attack again. George Jala quarterbacking this play. The defense playing condensed, betting run again as this ball goes to Anders Saylor's up the left side for a few yards.
Anders Saylor with a gain of 5. 4 on the play. That'll bring up 2nd and 6.
Kearsarge in the huddle planning out this 2nd and 6 attempt as they've got the ball inside the 30-yard line, already getting very close to that end zone again in this 3rd quarter. Again, Stevens playing awfully short. Kearsarge with not many threats outside. This one does go to Frioli, and it does go to the right, and he's broken through past everybody and into the end zone for 6 more.
John Frioli, run to the outside for a Cougars touchdown.
And here the replay as Frioli starts to motion early and that pitch back to him from Jala. And look at the wave of White coming down the field, blocking for him. Dodging 2 tackles on his way, and George Jala making sure to block. The final player of Stevens that could have stopped Frioli. Frioli has had a lot of clean running plays toward that right side. And I've mentioned it a few times. Every single time Frioli gets the ball, he's going right. Anders Saylor gets it. He is going left. And that sword does have 2 sharp edges in this game, leaving Stevens on their toes. Not sure which one they should be best defending. But Frioli breaking through that time makes it 28-0 as Kearsarge likely will go for 2 more. Please let all of our advertisers know you appreciate their support of local programming on Yankee Cable Network. If you are watching, give us some love on our YCN News Facebook page. high school sports is just so important. All these athletes out here by choice, having fun in a game where you get tackled, out there for the experience that they missed out on last year due to COVID. And of course, happy to be back in the action. And thank you to our sponsors again, as this game coverage is brought to you in part by LaValle Middleton Building Supply, with 11 locations in Vermont and New Hampshire, where safety and service are their top priorities. And check out Echo Communications. Call them for all your local printing and mailing needs. They are the home of the Kearsarge Shopper, where the latest YCN schedule can be found every week on page 3. And HR Clough Kearsarge Heating has full service offerings of all types of energy systems, as well as air conditioning and water conditioning systems. And don't forget again about their Auto Bath Car Wash and their Muddy Paws Dog Wash in Kentucky. Kearsarge now set with the play they want to run as they line up again, going for those 2 extra points. Parker going, hands this one off and along the right side, but brought down. And that one will not find as much success as their previous Kearsarge. 50-50 on the night with those 2-point conversions. We've got a flag on the play.
2-point conversion, no good.
As the referees motion that 2-point conversion is no good, special teams will make their way back out to the field. And here's another look at that touchdown from John Fraioli. A very nice run and a great team effort by the Kearsarge Cougars, blocking for him all the way. Jala there with that last one. A solid piece of contact to make the last bit of space as Fraioli finds the end zone. With that 2-point conversion being no good, that leaves the score at 28-0 with just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And kicking this one for Kearsarge, as always, Jerome Donahue. Setting up down there for Stevens, it looks to be Aiden Berry out taking the place where Aiden White usually is on these special teams plays. He's got Jalik Ribeiro to his left. Kearsarge, the kicking team, ready. And it's in the air, a solid kick this time, and that's going to find the hands of the man filling someone else's shoes, and he's making his way toward the left side with some hard contact along there with Alex Clark, and he will be brought down just past the 30-yard line. A good first carry of the game for Aiden Berry on a special teams play where he had to go all the way across the field.
Aiden Berry with a return to the 31-yard line.
On the replay here, head down all the way to that open space, and then Alex Clark there as Aiden Berry runs out of room. And that's Andrew Clark there helping him with that tackle as the offense rushes to set up this first play. Quarterbacking this one is Jalik Ribeiro. And he seems to be keeping this one going to the right side with some blocking, but Kearsarge quickly collapses and brings him down fast.
Number 7.
That's a high-octane tackle right there.
Pickup of 3.
As Ribeiro
2nd and 7.
was trying to make the most of his legs. And the second look here, some good blocking for Stevens, but we do see, again, with the physical presence being felt from the kicker, Jerome Donahue, he is so much more than just the guy who lets the kickoffs fly. He has made 3 or 4 very good tackles in this game where Stevens was just about to find a good amount of yardage.
Timeout, Stevens.
And we've got another timeout here. Second down with 7 yards to go. Stevens is going to think it over. Aiden White does seem to be recovering after making his way to the sidelines on a previous play, so it's good to see him picked up and doing better. Remember to stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the H.R. Football-Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game, where we choose the competitor that had the greatest impact on today's contest. I've got a few in mind, but there is plenty of time left in this game for someone to surprise me with their efforts. So far, though, I would say Andrew Clark out there, Jerome Donahue, the kicker. Great efforts on defense to bring down a lot of Stevens' tries. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Anders Sailor's putting in a ton of work with a lot of the brute force being dealt onto him along with John Fraioli. The running backs for Kearsarge have made their presence felt. This one snapped and held, but the pass incomplete as Cam Cunnings
incomplete pass
unable to hang on to that one. Zach Bundy with a good look there. Cam Cummings shrugs his shoulders. He knows that's one that he would have liked to have. He was open in the field, but that one just slipped through the grasp.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a humid day. It's been raining all day. The ground's certainly still wet, but we've been blessed with pretty good weather for game time here as things have settled down, and it ends up being quite the clear night. Still, though, that ground can make the ball awfully slippery for these receivers. Despite seemingly being a dry game, it is definitely not those conditions when you're out there playing. This one, another shotgun attempt, but it's going to be a running play along the right side, and he's found some serious yards. And that is Hunter Christensen. Hunter Christian with a big
bring up a Stevens first down.
Stevens was looking for a big running play like that. That's their first in a while. Hopefully building some momentum for this drive as they need to start chipping away on this lead soon. Hunter Christian with the great run there up the left side. We'll see if Stevens chooses to surprise them again out of the shotgun, but has some fullback help. Offense changing formation on the fly just a little bit. This one kept by Zach Bundy as he hurls it toward the right side. This one over the head of Jolique Ribeiro.
2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, ball on the 49-yard line. As Stevens thinks it over in the huddle. Information being relayed to Zach Bundy from the coach as he gets back to his team. Kearsarge just ready and waiting. They're not playing as compressed as Stevens does against their attacks. Kearsarge has just run the ball over and over this game, and it's been working. So Stevens has been able to play short like that. This one, though, a running play from Stevens, trying to take advantage of that open space, but this one only for a gain of 1.
With the keeper, gain of 1 on the play. Bring up 3rd and 9.
And the second look here as Zach Bundy receives a low snap, and there was certainly a hole there, but filling it quickly is Andrew Clark. There was a lot of daylight for a play to be made there if there was just one more block from the Stevens line onto Andrew Clark. Stevens ready a little bit quicker this time, again out of the shotgun. This one kept again. Zach Bundy making his way through for a few more yards.
Zach Bundy on the keeper.
That's going to be
a gain of
4th down now.
2 on the play. That'll bring up 4th and 6.
Fourth and 6. This ball just past midfield. Stevens lines up seemingly to give this one away. Punting is Aiden White. Sends this one down toward Damon Dawson, who picks it up and looks to his left. Trying to muscle his way through one tackle, brought down just beyond the 20-yard line. Aiden White again banged up on a previous play, punted that last ball. It seemed like what he had was some sort of leg injury that he was dealing with on that prior play. So if he's back out there punting, that is a very good sign for this Stevens team that he seems to be doing okay.
Cougars will take over on the 23-yard line, 1st and 10.
After receiving that punt now, Kearsarge has a long way to go. They're on their own 23-yard line. Just over 2.5 to play in the third quarter. Parker going, lines up to quarterback this play, but he will hand it off. And this is Fraioli, tries to go right, but for the first time this game, ends up going to the left. Not as successful as his other direction usually is. No gain on that play. Anders Saylor comes to the sideline, so who will run the ball to the left for Kearsarge now with his absence? Kearsarge ready to go here. A lot of presence in the wings of the quarterback. This one pitched again to Fraioli, and he will be brought down early for a loss on this play. And we go to the replay now to see how Stevens was able to just pile on and make sure nothing was good up the middle for Fraioli to get to. Hard to tell with Fraioli behind all of those players. Might have bobbled the ball. It seemed like he was looking at his feet or something there. A good job not to fumble it. This is not where you would want to turn that over. And if that was the case, he is certainly happy with no gain on that play. Parker going again, quarterbacking this one to hand it off, and this is Damon Dawson as he'll make his way up the left side for a short gain, brought down, and that will bring us to 4th and long. Kearsarge should be sending this one back downfield for Stevens to take possession. Damon Dawson, that's his 2nd carry of the game. And if Anders Saylor is not out on the field, he is the weapon that Kearsarge chooses to go left. I've never seen it before in a football game, but I love how there are just 2 running threats for 2 different directions. And this is the punt sent along. And Jalik Ribeiro lets this one run its course as the ball will be brought to just before midfield on the Stevens side.
Stevens will take over on the 40-yard line.
15 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Stevens in decent positioning to start this drive. 60 yards to the score as they hope to chip away on this 28-point lead that Kearsarge has built through the game. Setting up again in the shotgun. This one kept by Zach Bundy, looking right, choosing to go left, and this one finds the hands of Jalik Ribeiro, and he tries to make his way up the middle, but is brought down again as Kearsarge able to collapse.
3 yards, bring up 2nd and 7.
And that is going to kill the clock here in the third quarter.
There's something for everyone in the Innertown Record newspaper. Your trusted source for community news since 1993.
I like to know what my town officials are up to. That's why I read the paper.
Politics, local elections, and more.
I like to see my friend in the Innertown Record.
Correspondents keep you up to date with what's going on in your neighborhood. The Innertown Record thanks you for supporting advertisers who bring you the local news.
At H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, we sell, install, tune, and repair heating and cooling systems and deliver your fuel oil and propane. But we're much more. H.R. Clough installs water conditioning systems to purify your water and add life to your hot water heating system. Now is the perfect time for one of our expert staff to evaluate your needs. For a free estimate, call H.R. Clough today. Over 4 generations of local ownership and dependable service.
And welcome back as we begin the fourth quarter here with the ball on the 44-yard line for Stevens, staring down a 2nd and 6. Lining up out of the shotgun with some motion here. This one a running try right up the middle for a gain of maybe a yard.
Run up the middle.
Kearsarge has done a great job defending that up the middle run tonight, getting the safeties involved if things get dire, but the defensive line has definitely had their work cut out for him. That has been one of Stevens' favorite plays, so a lot on the shoulders of number 75 out there, Jack Chambers, to bring down most of those efforts. And again, out of the shotgun here is Stevens as they hand this off, and it is fumbled. Looks to be recovered by Kearsarge. Parker going with the ball, and he's brought down. Change of possession. Kearsarge again finding themselves within midfield.
Let's go!
And here's the second look. As you can see, the strip on this tackle comes through, and this Kearsarge defense has been hungry to cause turnovers, and that one caused by Alex Clark. Have I said his name enough on defense? He's had an outstanding game so far. Parker going there to pick up the ball and get this one in the possession of the Cougars.
Dumped my phone on the ground. Just leave it there. Can you pick it up?
Starting this drive, a pitch to John Frioli, running right, as is tradition, breaking by 3 Stevens players for a short gain. John Frioli on the offense has had so much to do physically breaking these tackles, muscling his way by just for a few yards here and there, but he has found a couple of long carries this time. Brought down by Stevens defense. 3 players there to seal off that right side running threat. And here we go again. Kearsarge with no threats outside. Almost certainly another running play as they go here, and it's a fumble recovered by Jala, who's able to pick it up and go right for some yards. There's not a lot in front of him. Oh, can't forget they're brought down by a block. And that is going to be another touchdown for George Jala, as he has had a couple of scrambling plays to find 2 touchdowns this game. And on to the replay, we can just see how this ball popped loose right in the middle of the field, and George Jala picks it up, spinning to his right, and already at full speed making his way down. And this is Cam Cummings, the last line of defense here for Stevens, shoved aside by Connor Pillsbury with final block to secure the touchdown for Kearsarge as they extend their lead even further, 34-0, going for 2 again. Maybe going for a kick this time. It does seem like that seems to be the play. Jerome Donahue lines up for his first one. We've got a penalty on the offense. That'll bring us back 5 more yards. Do you keep the kicker out there now? Jerome Donahue with a longer try in front of him.
Oh, yeah. With some grass with it.
They will line up for it again.
Yeah.
25 yards the distance. The snap and the silence, the ball in the air, and this one no good as it's to the right of the posts.
Stevens will prepare to.
Back to the previous touchdown where George Jala was able to pick up this fumble as the ball squeaks loose on this tackle. Jala, who was flat-footed, says, hey, look what I found. And then he finds a whole lot of room in front of him. And this final block, securing the 6 points. Connor Pillsbury with the effort there leading that charge.
I'd probably actually just run out on the field and grab him and be like, what are you doing?
George Jala having himself a night with some very odd scrambling plays. Both of his touchdowns to this point have not been what was drawn up, but he will take them all the same. And Jerome Donahue again, setting up to kick this one toward the way of the Stevens Cardinals. Aiden White, typical receiver, still sidelined on this one as Aiden Berry is down there in his place again. This one off the hands will find Aiden Berry again. He's got some room, finds some yards, and brought down as he is wrapped up. But that time, better than his first carry, as we've got the replay. Aiden Berry
with a return to the 34-yard line.
Starting to get some good use out of those legs. Proving to be a quick player. A weird reception he had to make too is now tipped off the hands of Jalik Ribeiro and found its way into his grip. Making his way by, a little less headstrong on the sideline effort this time. Choosing to contest some contact, and he's able to get a few more yards for his work. Stevens now ready to take the snap. This one handed off not once but twice, and it's going to be Aiden Berry again, this time up the left side for a gain of 8 or 9. Well, he made
run on the play. It's football.
Brought over the sideline sooner, but on the replay, we should have a better look for it. Definitely one of the quicker players we've seen in this game to this point. You can see it in that play and in the kick return. He's got these bursts that can really get him by a defense. We're now on 2nd down and inches after that try from Aiden Berry. Stevens making their way up to the line again. Zach Bundy receiving this snap short, a little bit of motion on the sides, but again going with the run up the middle and good for the first down.
Hey, Mary, with a run up the middle, that's
making their way down the field.
First down!
Aiden Berry, the ball in his hands, 3 plays in a row, and Stevens with a little bit of momentum to start this drive. A little bit slow to get up out there as the trainer comes out to take a look at Hunter Christian. Certainly hope he's okay. A great crowd has come out tonight for this game on both sides. Stevens with a fantastic home crowd so far. A great pep band playing along. And Kearsarge supporting in large numbers on the other side of the field with a full bleacher section. And then the parents spaced out a little more sparsely than the students, but the students all here in support of their team. And we've got another timeout as we take a little break in the action. And as we near the halfway point of the 4th quarter, make sure you stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat player of the game when we choose the competitor that had the greatest impact on today's contest. Both teams making their way back out to center again, as we will have a 1st and 10 with the ball on the 48-yard line. Kearsarge playing with 1 safety, far back to defend the pass, and it is a passing play. Stevens trying to get this one off, but Zach Bundy under pressure and a sack, as it's going to be Joey Walker, bringing him down for a loss of about 5.
Back to Stevens, 5 yards on the play.
Getting his props too from Jerome Donahue, who has had a fantastic defensive game, and you can see the smile almost right at the camera there, as he did a great job there, sneaking through the play, closing the distance, locking up Zach Bundy, and making sure to finish that tackle. Another pause for some planning and some hydration, as we've got 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Kearsarge leads Stevens 34-0. And this one certainly Kearsarge's best game of the season so far. They had similar score lines through halves at previous points of the season, but Kearsarge has had injuries plaguing their third and fourth quarters of the season so far. These two teams ready to go again here on 2nd and 17. Thanks to the handiwork of Joey Walker, who came up with that sack on the previous play. Kearsarge playing closer now, and it is a running play. This one up the middle, and that'll be good for a short gain. Still should be 3rd and more than 10. 3rd and about 12 is where we sit here.
6, bring up 3rd and 11.
The running try here, identified early by Kearsarge to put the stop to it. Lining up out of the shotgun, but for another running play up the middle. And again, a very short gain for Stevens. The clock will keep moving. We should have 4th and 10. Do we have a flag on the play? No, we don't. Getting ready to go for this 4th down try with 8 yards to go, but it's going to be a punt. Stevens kicking this one away. As Colin Crow for Kearsarge backs up. As the punt lofted in the air, sent his way. This one may not be picked up, but it was touched. So it has to be scrambled upon by Colin Croto. He is able to come up with the ball. His team is safe for now, but they're very close to their own end zone. They're going to have another long drive here to go. Bubba's Bar and Grill has a menu comprised of seafood, land fairs, award-winning seafood chowder, hearty sandwiches, and a diverse pizza menu to satisfy any size party located on beautiful Newberry Harbor. The teams here still strategizing. It looks like Parker Goen will be quarterbacking this play for Kearsarge. It looks like Kearsarge lost 5 yards on that punt due to contact with the kicker. Now Kearsarge under a little bit of pressure here, playing very close to their own end zone.
Kearsarge will take over on the 9-yard line.
This one on the 9. Running out to his left. Dawson again trying to find the hole, but brought down there. It looked like Cam Cummings with the tackle. We'll see on the second look.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Not choosing to go all the way to the sidelines. Damon Dawson looking for any space he could find, but Cam Cummings there to take it all away. 2nd down with 9 to go. Ball now on the 10-yard line. Kearsarge sets up Parker Goen, still quarterbacking this drive to this point. Has some help on his wings. Another running play, this time the other direction, but for no gain. And this one a very congested play, as Stevens is really starting to close the gap on these runs. That actually brings us to 3rd and 12, as there was a loss on that play.
Oh, that's
Kearsarge ready to attack again. Stevens with a safety back, defending that pass that could be coming on this 3rd and 12 try. We do finally have some wide receivers out to the side for Kearsarge. Hunter LeClaire and Damon Dawson. To the left of Parker Goen, the quarterback. And it looks like a timeout called by Kearsarge. If you are just joining us, 34-0 the score in favor of Kearsarge, as this really is their best game of the season. They've been chasing their first win for a while, and a few close contests along the way. As we find ourselves in week 4, they find themselves closer and closer to finally achieving that goal. This one punted away by Jerome Donahue, sent down the way of Stevens, but finding its way out of bounds. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the game, make sure you stay tuned right through to the end for the H.R. Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game.
Stevens will take over the 16-yard line, 1st and 10.
John Fraioli has a couple of touchdowns so far, as does George Jalla. He's also got an interception. We've got a couple of fumble recoveries for the Cougars as well. The defense having just as good a game as the offense. Everything seems to be clicking for the Cougars tonight. This run, though, from Stevens up the middle. Not finding much, though, as the tackle is made.
Stevens with a run up the middle. Gain of 5 on the play. 2nd and 5.
Zach Bundy keeping the ball there, but 3 Cougars in response. Shut down the try after 5 yards. The ball is on the 10, and Stevens is in the best striking distance they've had all game. And again, right up the middle, you can hear the call from Kearsarge as they get the read early on that play, and they get the stop. And that'll bring us to 3rd
Cardinals
down.
with another run up the middle. Looks like a gain of 2. That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Stevens does not want to let this drive slip away from them. This is as close as they've been all night. As they line up here, Zach Bundy going to receive this snap short. Has some help in the rafters. This one handed off up the middle. Did they finally break through? A lot of contention near the goal line. What do the referees say? Not quite. That will be good enough.
Cardinals will take the ball on the 1. Good for Stevens. 1st down.
They've got 1
1st and goal.
Separating them from a 6 on the scoreboard. And they are playing right now. They are hungry to get it. Another good running play up the middle, finding them that 1st and goal. And this one, finding them the touchdown. Stevens finally up
And the
the
Cardinals
scoreboard.
will score. Bring up to 34-6.
Kearsarge still leads 34-6 in this one. Stevens likely going to be going for a 2 here. 1 minute, 45 seconds left in the 4th quarter as this one begins to close down. It would take a sprint of efforts from Stevens to erase the deficit they're in right now. But finally getting their running game to go their way. They find their first touchdown, and now Stevens comes up to the line ready to go for 2 more points. This one handed off, running along the left side and into the end zone. That's going to be Aiden Berry, who has started to make his mark here in the fourth quarter.
And Aiden Berry runs the ball in for a good 2-point conversion.
34-8, Kearsarge. And here on the replay is the touchdown. This running play going right up the middle. Number 43, all the way, Nick Burke, having to muscle his way through a couple of Cougars. Aiden Berry comes off the bench in substitute for Aiden White, taking his role in this game as he was banged up a little bit. Seems to be out kicking the ball though, so functional, in good spirits, out there playing with the team, finishing the game in this role that he's got left. But Aiden Berry has really started to make a mark for this Stevens team. Certainly not given up in this one yet, with a great kick return, a couple of fantastic runs, and that touchdown score as we get ready for the kickoff with 1:45 left to play in this one. Stevens ready, and they let it fly. This one bounces once and finds the hands of Colin Croto, who's going to be trying to go both ways, not finding much room in either. Now back toward his right for a few more yards, and he's broken through another small hole, and that's going to be bringing him down around the 35. A great scramble there from Colin Croto, as he wasn't sure what to do. The field in front of him so confusing. The blocks not exactly in place close as he would like them to be, but with a little lateral movement, he's able to move those defenders on the special team side of things
with a return
right
to the
and left.
33-yard line.
And that does get him to the
Cougars offense
35-yard
will
line.
take over.
On the 33, excuse me. A minute and a half left to play here. Kearsarge could just be running out the clock and making this the final drive of the night. Everyone setting up very close, as if to tell us the quarterback is about to knee it. Parker going, quarterbacking this one. And that is not what he'll do. He will pitch it over to Dawson, but look at that. 4 members of Stevens break through the offensive line, and they put a stop to Dawson's run early and for a loss. And it looks like we do have a flag on the play. As we wait for the referees to tell us what it is, seems to be on the defense here, as this one is marched down considerably. A personal foul on Stevens will bring this one to the 42-yard line. Stevens ready to go here on defense, following that penalty, hoping to get right back into this game. Kearsarge still getting the play from their sideline, looking over. And we've got a timeout called for Kearsarge with just under a minute left to play.
52.4 seconds left in the game.
And as they kill the clock one more time, this one will be kneed down. And that should just about do it as the players shake hands.
Final score, 34.
Coming up with the player of the game.
Stevens, 8. Thank you for coming out tonight, and please get home safe.
With George Jala. Just a fantastic effort on both sides of the ball. The HR Clough Kearsarge Heating turning up the heat. Player of the game, your Kearsarge quarterback, George Jala, with a great interception in this game and 2 fantastic scrambling touchdowns that are certainly going to be some of his favorite highlights from the season. He leads the handshakes as we end the night. Kearsarge 34, Stevens 8.